thumbnail 2323. So my youngest of three just turned 23 on Friday, the 21st of March. And oh my goodness, I cannot believe that my baby, is 23 years old. And it just seems like yesterday. I don't know about you, but whenever my children turns a year older, I always reflect back on, my pregnancy with them, their birth, and just their life, and just how amazing things have been. I promise you, none of my children has ever given us any challenges, and I just have three out of three. And so that was the cake. We ordered it, and she wanted edible flowers on it. So those flowers that you see, those aren't like dry pressed. They're just some kind of like sugary kind of, I don't know how they made it, but they definitely taste like a light sugary, they melt in your mouth type of thing. And so I put those on there. I did the decorations for it. My daughters always like the white on white cakes, the white cake with just the age that they are on it. But we had a wonderful, wonderful weekend with my daughter. Her and I went to a mother-daughter tea at this place called Chez Marie, and it's a French bakery here in Charlotte. On It's over by South Park Mall, if you're familiar with the area. And it was really lovely. And that's the way that I need to describe it, as lovely. It was lovely. We had a really good time. We had made reservations, so they made the spread for us. We didn't select, and I told her next time when we come, we would have to make a selection, because they gave us their favorites, and they were good. The pastries were good, but maybe we would have wanted something a little different, because the case that they had that showed their pastries looked phenomenal. And if it would have meant maybe taking away two things to get one of those other things, I definitely would have done that. And they gave us these little tea cake sandwiches. And so my daughter's a vegetarian, so she had to get the one that was just an egg sandwich, a cheese sandwich, and I did the ones that were that had meat on it. So there was one that had it's like it's not salami. I forget what type of meat it is, but it had like a jelly to it. So it had a sweet taste that I was not expecting. And then the other was wasn't tuna, but it was some type of salmon sandwich. And it was interesting. I think I would have preferred the egg one. So I said next time we'll have to be more specific and customize our order. The pastries were really yummy. They had some really interesting flavors like pistachio and such, but it was nice to try something new. And the tea was really good. We got a dark blend of Earl. It was basically Earl Grey. Um, oh, I have something in my throat. Hold on. Excuse me, something got caught in my throat. So yeah, it was a wonderful birthday for her. Her and her siblings, that's what they call each other. My other two, they all call each other the siblings. They went out Friday night, all day Friday though, for her birthday. She was going to all these different stores to get free items. Did you know that stores have a ton of free things that they can give you for your birthday if you are enrolled with them or have their app? I'm talking about from Bath and Body Works, from Ulta, Sephora, Panera, Chick-fil-A, Krispy Kreme, Crumble Cookie, oh my, Nothing But Cakes, McDonald's, just everywhere. She went to all these different places and picked up free things. It was she had a whole bag full of stuff. And so then Saturday, that's when we did the tea party, and then her and her sister went to another party up in Raleigh. And I love it. I love that my children travel. They don't just stay put. If something's jumping off somewhere else, they'll go, because that's kind of how I was when I was their age, not letting too much grass grow under my feet, not staying so close to home to find, great things to do, just really spreading their wings. So, and I see Viral Shorts 2.0 is in the building. Good morning to you. Thank you for coming in. And I see that dollar amount that you're saying. That's cool. Hope you're having a great Monday so far. But just wanted to come on here and just the celebration of life. We always celebrate life after the person's gone, but we want to celebrate people while they're here. So celebrate yourself, celebrate your loved ones, your children, if you have, your parents, your siblings, your loved one, your spouse, your partner, your friends. Celebrate that life as well while they're here. Give them their flowers while they can still smell them. Um, that's all so important. I noticed at Angie Stone's services, and I know she had passed away a couple of weeks ago. Actually, she was on her way to where I was, which was the CIAA, to perform in Baltimore, Maryland. She had just left a performance in Mississippi, I believe, or Alabama. One of those, heading back to Atlanta, probably to catch a plane to come to Baltimore, where she found, was had her untimely death. But I noticed the beautiful flowers that she had at her service. Oh my goodness, the cascade of red roses were tremendous. And, my hope is that she was able to receive those while she was alive too. So it's about celebrating people. I listen, after Friday, I was like, you know, my daughter just wanted to walk all over the place. And initially I was like, but no, these are memories. Each day is a memory. And so I definitely wanted to um make sure that whatever energy I needed to muster up, that I had it to celebrate her and her life. And Wellness with Frugal Mama is in the building. Good morning to you. Hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. And I enjoyed your workout this morning. It definitely inspired me. And Sassy, I don't know if you're familiar with Sassy. She's also a content creator. She has a challenge every week. I want to say she does some type of challenge. I don't know if it's a group she's in or it's just her own challenge, and she comes out here on YouTube to state it. But her challenge this week is to walk 6,000 steps a day. And so I told her, I said, I'm gonna do that challenge with you, that 6K every day challenge. And I just called it that, and it just kind of rhymed. I was like, that's kind of cool, 6K every day. Because I walk a lot, especially now that the weather is breaking. And when I check my watch, I'm walking 8,000 steps. So, to do it more consistently is the key. And Frugal Mama, when you were talking about, how you just were waking up a little bit later than usual, not doing that much over these past few days, I'm right there with you. I always give myself grace on the weekend because I do so much during the week. Until the weekend comes, I shut it all the way down. And people in my circle, my day to day, like friends, colleagues, team members, all that, they don't believe it. They're like, there's no way that you just shut it all the way down on the weekends, because I have so much energy doing so much during the week. But I absolutely do. And I'm like, I don't understand why y'all wouldn't think I do. There's no way I can continue. So sometimes over the weekend, like yesterday. So Saturday I was out and about because my daughter and I went to the mother-daughter tea. But yesterday I said, I'm just gonna just not talk, just lay and rest. And that's exactly what I did. And at some point, because it was such a beautiful day, I was thinking, man, I should probably go outside and walk because it's so beautiful. But I said, you know what? 5 out of 7 days, I'm on that grind. I'm doing that. I'm walking. I'm doing a lot of things, not just walking, but just, projects, just in business in general. So I need to give myself that moment to rest. And so that's the grace that I give. And I hope that you give yourself grace, because you are up early in the morning, working out. And I'm sure that's just the start of your day. And with your two, children, and doing things with them here, there, everywhere, life can do a lot. So, when you listen to your body, when your body's like, you know what, I'm not getting up early, listen to your body, especially if you can. So I'm glad that you shut it down a little bit over those past few days. So definitely. But yesterday I did start feeling a little guilty, like, dang, it's so beautiful outside. But I'm like, outside see me all the time. Outside is not missing me. I need to take care of myself so I can enjoy outside. you know? But y'all, my youngest is 23 years old. That's so crazy. We call her our change of life baby because she's the only baby we had that was born after my husband retired. And even though my children are all 20 months apart, it just was different because my husband was there for all the births of my children, but for my son, it was during the season. So when my son was born on a Friday, that Saturday, my husband had to leave town to go to Indianapolis for a game to play on that Sunday. And then it just so happened we were caught in a tropical storm, which they slated as a hurricane. My son and I and my mother-in-law had to evacuate to the Superdome, and my husband did not come home until that Tuesday. We didn't come home till Tuesday either. We had to leave the hospital. It's a long story. I've done videos on it before, but yeah. And so, I'm just with my mother-in-law during that time. And then my daughter, my center child, was born right before preseason, and so she was born at the end of June. And my husband was there for her birth and everything, and he was there for the first few weeks, but he had to go to practice and preseason workouts and everything, and then he was gone for 6 weeks, for camp. And my mother-in-law was with me, and my mother would come periodically, but so that was different. And now with the third, my husband was retired, so there were no games, no preseason, no camps, nothing like that. And it was just so nice. It was different, having him there every day, all day, but it was good. It was good. Let's see. I see Tomboy 89 is in the building. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Love back to you. Definitely. Love and peace and grace back to you. Thank you so much. And so she was that change of life, and it was like her birth just really slowed us down. And she is that one that just keeps the balance, if that makes sense. She's that one, that peacekeeper, peacemaker. And I really love her presence. She's like the perfect fit, the perfect third child for our family. And it's enjoyable. She's one of the nicest people that I know in real life. She reminds me so much of my mother. And I remember after my mother passed away, my daughter, my youngest, was in the third grade, I believe. And one day, just talking with her and being around her, I just stopped. I paused and I said, "Oh my goodness, you're just like Nana." Her aura. My mother was a very, very nice person. She never raised her voice, didn't cuss people out. She was never fussing and fighting, doing crazy things. My mother was very even keeled and just really nice, always had others' interest at heart, in mind. And that's how my daughter is. She's very compassionate, but she's a nice person. She's very thoughtful and just stays so even keel. You can't even be mad at her really because she's so calm all the time. And it's really cool. I remember when she was younger, I used to always say, "Girl, if anybody makes you different in terms of, makes you sad, mad, or whatever, they're gonna have a problem with me." Because I know her way, and it doesn't she's not trying to hurt anybody. So if somebody comes into her life and, really does bad things, it's gonna be a problem. She has a really, really nice boyfriend, and I always ask her, "How's he doing? Is he really nice like that, or is it just when I'm around?" Because she deserves the best. And my husband likes him too. So it's good. She definitely picked well. I always pray. Since my children were 3 years old, I've been praying for their future spouse because I knew that their future spouse was born. By the time they were three, I was like, they're either born already, getting ready to be born, or whatever. They're in the world. And I always pray since the age of three that whoever they ended up with were having great experiences, that they were loved, they understood love, they understood partnership, they received people that did great things for them. Because some people don't receive when you're doing something good for them, they don't receive it. They are not used to it. So they are always looking for the bad, looking for the break, and things like that. So my prayer for their future spouse was that they were not only able to give love but also receive love, that they were, having great experiences growing up, that they understood the power of relationships. And so far I want to say that they've been all doing well selecting their partners in terms of people that they date, not even necessarily seriously, but just their friends, just everything. I found, it's been really good. So very pleased with that. TWP Popcorn is in the building. Good morning to you. How are you doing? Hope all is well. I do. And let's see. My husband is a retired professional player. Yes, athlete. He is. He retired a long time ago, but he did play professionally for 10 years. Um, Tomboy 89. And is 89 the year you were born, or what year? What does 89 represent? Because I pledged my sorority in 1989. So if you were born that year, that means you're 36. What? I can't believe I pledged that long ago. That's so wild. But y'all, that cake that you see in the thumbnail was so good. It was one of those I don't know if y'all have a Publix where you are, but it's a Publix cake, and it has the raspberry filling, and that's cream cheese icing, and it is just it was so good. And she had a good birthday. And so her boyfriend doesn't live near us. And so I said, he didn't want to come down, but he's on his grind. He's studying, he's working, but he's studying for his series test, which she is too. So I like that he is committed to that, but sent her some beautiful flowers for sure. The year you graduated from high school. Okay, all right. So I'm 87. I graduated high school in 87. So we right there together. The 80s was something else. Listen, the birthday party that my daughters went to in Raleigh on Saturday night was a 70s themed party. So they're asking me, how did people dress in the 70s? I'm like, I was a little girl in the 70s, but I had to think about it, thinking about Donna Summers and even my mother and her sisters when they would go out, like, okay, let me see, let me think. I said, I know it was a lot of glitter. So, shiny, bright stuff, bell bottoms for sure. They ended up looking so good. Oh my goodness. I told them, I said, please, I hope y'all took a picture because they looked like they were straight out of the 70s. But my children, anything in the 1900s, they swear I know about it. They're like, so back in 1940, what was it like? What? I don't know. I wasn't even thought of. What are you talking about? They are so funny. But they have asked me, what was it like growing up in the 1900s? And I promise you, at first, I was like, what you mean? But then when I thought about it, yeah, we grew up in the 1900s. That's so wild. It might have been the late 1900s, but it was the 1900s. And let me tell you, if you grew up in the 80s, the late 70s, the early 90s, it was a good time. It really was good, clean fun. Oh my goodness. Some of the movies that they watch, especially the ones that are based out of New York, and they're like, oh, I saw that, was it really like that? Yeah, it really was. It was. And so I'm not sure, what the way that they grow up now is so different. And that's why I think my husband and I are so lenient with them, or have been when they were younger, like, yeah, go ahead, because they were never going to get into half of what we got into, not even a little bit. So let's see. Amar Gorung, hello to you. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for coming into this live. Yeah, I'm just saying, celebrate life. You never know, and just make those memories, because those are memories that'll last forever. I have great memories with my mother that, every now and again something will remind me of it, and it'll pop up and I'm like, yeah, I remember that. That was so cool. And that's the things that, I'm trying to create with my children, and have been creating for years and years with them. And the thing is, though, it's those remember when moments, when you sitting around and you're talking about different things. And as a parent, because we were grown when we did most of those things with them, it's important to remind them of those moments, because sometimes they'll forget, because they call it, when they were awoke. It's a time when a child remembers. And so it's different ages, and my youngest, she says she was awoke at like 3 years old, and it's a particular situation that she remembered. It was a photo shoot, and I'm just like, wow, that's interesting. I never considered that. But when you think about it, what was your earliest memory? And your earliest memory is when you were actually awoke. And so, you know, not saying that they remember everything since, but as an adult, you remember circumstances around things. You remember how you ended up there. And so explain that to them as they get older and have those conversations so that they will always remember and, will remain awoke. So that's really important for sure. But birthdays are very special, and I think it's special for all those that were involved. So for all of my children's birthdays, I find it special for me too. And I tend to, look at my husband like, we did that. And that's a beautiful thing because as a mother, we're the vessel, but together is what makes it one. So I love it. I love it. And I hope you all had a wonderful weekend wherever you are. I did put a short out there, and I think some people thought that it was snowing here in the Carolinas. But my snow short that I had just posted yesterday, it was from, I don't know, a few weeks ago when everyone around the country, it seemed, was getting all this snow. And here in Charlotte, we get very little snow. We haven't had a significant snowfall in about 5 or 6 years. And so that snow was about the most we got, which was very little, but it was beautiful as it was coming down. But now the weather definitely has broken and it is spring. Spring is in the air. I hope it's warm and beautiful where you are. It's going to rain today, but it's still, the weather has broken. It's not cold where you need a coat or anything. But I just want everyone to remain safe and just celebrate life. Celebrate your life. Celebrate the lives of those that you love. Reach out to them. Say hello. Say how you doing. Stay in touch with them. That's so important. And all right, that's all I have for you this morning. I'm going to head in. I have a busy week, but I'll be back later on to check in and see how you all are doing. And remember, practice every day. Practice so hard that when you get into play, you will always play to win. It's been my pleasure talking with you this morning. I am Coach Sherri.